This is the way it feels to move through summer in Lululemon. Iconic Align softness without the front seam. For our smoothest look and feel ever, summer won't know what hit it. Stretch your limits in the non-stop flexibility of the new Lululemon Align No-Line Pant in select stores and at Lululemon.com.
This episode is brought to you by Blink, an Amazon company. Think you're ready for Prime Day? With up to 50% off Blink Smart Security, you will be. With crisp HD video, real-time alerts, and two-way talk, you'll know the moment your packages arrive. Save big on Blink Smart Security, starting at just $19.99 with the Blink Mini 2 plug-in camera. Shop now at Amazon.com/Blink.
Hey nerds, welcome to The Paperfold. I am your host Sarah, the Paper Nerd, and I'm so glad to be back nerding out with you on my favorite topic, stationery. I know you all can't wait for today's guest, but first I need to call out my very special sponsor, Avanti Press. This Michigan House of Cards is hosting this fall's Greeting Card Association card conference in their own backyard, Detroit, Michigan. The team there has been working very hard for months now to generate an engaging mix of speakers from both the card world and the Detroit creative community. It is a huge honor then for me to share the news here first that speaking next fall will be none other than my very special guest today, Anna Bond, CEO and founder of Rifle Paper. Don't miss out. There's still a lot we don't cover in these interviews, and the GCA Card Conference is your chance to be in the room where it happens. Secure your spot at greetingcard.org/2025-greeting-card-conference/. Now, back to today's episode. If you have not heard the first part of my interview with this icon, please go back to part 1 and check it out. Part 2 follows right after this. Hey nerds, it has been a hot minute since I filled you in on all things new with that fantastic and fantastical LA-based brand Girl with Knife. After all, this cutting-edge California house of design has trailblazed its way through paper goods, home decor, and yes, even house design since the incredible creative powerhouse Alicia Castaldi founded it in 2018. You'd be blind not to note the innate glamour of every last larger-than-life Girl with Knife creation, but beneath each one, there also lies an honesty and simplicity that comprises its true design strength. That distinctive quality is typically born on a Girl with Knife greeting card, carefully brought to life slice by slice with Alicia's trusty X-Acto blade. Now, greeting cards themselves are a deceptively simple product category. A card can bridge both physical and emotional distances. They can share messages we don't know quite how to articulate on the phone or in real life, and these messages endure forever. Alicia understands this distinctive magic, and it's evident in spades in her 19 newest card releases. I just reviewed them while editing the summer issue of Stationery Trends, and they legitimately knocked my socks off. Spanning occasions from every day to the holidays, they are so good. I want you to be captivated by them for yourself, so I'll just dish on a few faves. We Are So Connected depicts a white charm bracelet on a black background, but somehow it effortlessly reflects and enhances our closest relationships. Like most of Alicia's work, the design is informed by a fabulous backstory, echoing both how she and her close friends speak to each other, as well as their respective artistry. Believe it or not, one makes charm jewelry that all the others wear. This card's personal origins really make it resonate, just like Girl with Knife's hot-off-the-press Father's Day card, a reflection of Alicia's own eternal adoration for her late father and what she describes as his outlaw spirit, of course. Presented on a sleek black backdrop with white lettering, the copy starts out, "My father, my hero," and rest assured, it will be in the hands of some of the most appreciated fathers this year. Perhaps yours? This card is a forever keeper, and there are 17 other equally mesmerizing card releases, each a mini masterpiece showcasing fresh finesse from this Louis Award-winning Artist of the Year. Meanwhile, design elements find their way from greeting cards onto other Girl with Knife creations. Maybe it'll be a new ultra-thick gift wrap, or perhaps a Luke's candle that incorporates fabulous scents into the design mix. And that, my paper nerd friends, is why Girl with Knife is your BFF in paper goods and home decor. So head on over to girlwithknife, all spelled out, .com and immerse yourself. I just know your spirit will be elevated. Meanwhile, if you are in the trade, shop this top shop brand sensation exclusively on Faire 24/7. I guarantee your stationery, as well as your living and workspaces, will slay. So you mentioned in Atlanta, we were talking like a little bit just about your different designs. And you mentioned that generating the florals that Rifle is so known for has become like almost automatic to you at this point. And so while you will never halt that, like you're experimenting with different kinds of imagery, such as pastoral imagery, like that found in your country farm calendar. And I know you mentioned your cheese calendar was really successful last year, probably because of charcuterie, and you're expanding on it this year. So I also saw some really fun circus imagery from you. That's really different from pretty much every other conception of what circus looks like that I've seen. So I'm curious, how do you pick a new subject or theme? What draws you to it? Can you reveal anything that goes into that process?
Yeah, and I think we've always had some, the very first collection that we had, there was maybe more of like less flowers and a little bit more of that stuff. The flowers they do well. I love them. We also have so many patterns to work with, but the figurative things are just really fun. And the Home Sweet Home collection, like that's more pastoral with like cows and ducks. And it's just been really fun for our team to design because we're playing around with borders and it's not just a repeat pattern. It's very placed for each product. And that's been very inspiring. But again, I think when we're deciding which ones are kind of starting from that place of, what's going on right now, I do think there's a lot of like country home things happening in the market and a very like homey. I see so many of those videos of like these Ralph Lauren home catalogs, which I love. And
I love that catalogs are coming back to just that era of like, you were talking about the early days of NSS, like those 90s days of like getting a big catalog to dig through and that lifestyle, that vibe. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that, we're moving away from the white walls and pattern and layering. And so the circus imagery and the pastoral imagery feels, again, like kind of these timeless motifs and doing it in a way that feels really like us. So we've had a lot of, we've had different ones over the years, but those are really fun right now. And we're doing a lot more in that collection for fall and spring. So yeah, it's fun. It's a change of pace from some of the florals, but the florals are, like I said, they're always there.
Hey nerds, just popping in for a Paper Baristas update. Many of you will recall its dynamic founder, Christy Asper. She was my guest on episode 56 of this podcast. Christy is also the founding sponsor and the inspiration for my Nerd Note segment. This all-American house of stationery brews paper goods to do good with an eco-conscious, fair trade business model and philosophy that drastically differs from that of pretty much every other stationery and gift brand I've encountered. While many of you know that every last Paper Barista's offering has literally been upcycled from what would otherwise be thrown out, that's only part of the story here. Since its founding in 2019, 10% of all Paper Baristas profits have been donated to the International Justice Mission to fight human trafficking. Please join me in congratulating Paper Baristas for achieving the fantastic milestone of donating over $30,000 to fight modern slavery. I can't even begin to imagine how many people's stories were changed for the better forever from this brand's efforts. Meanwhile, another important element of the brand's philosophy is that fair trade and eco-friendly products should be accessible to all. So while Paper Barista's recycled, biodegradable, handmade, and wood-free paper feels incredibly luxurious and posh to the hand, it's affordable to the wallet as well. Shopping this vibrant brand is such an easy, uplifting way to honor our planet as we fill in that planner or send that get well card. With that said, it's not too surprising that this family-owned brand is a 4-time finalist in this year's Louis Awards. Like the Grammys for music or the Academy Awards for film, this program has been honoring the best cards for over 30 years. I've been involved with this program since 1997, and every year this competition gets more competitive. Clearly, Paper Baristas has struck a most resonant chord with paper nerds across the board. While the Louis Awards Gala isn't until the end of July, seeing Paper Baristas rise to the top of this year's finalist pool underlines the vital importance of the brand's ethos to put people and the planet before profits. There's never any plastic packaging, and every product blends recycled and upcycled elements. The thick handmade paper itself is created using pollution-free methods such as sheets that are sun-dried, conserving energy usage, and it's chemical-free, protecting our waterways. Thus, it is no exaggeration to say that every last Paper Baristas offering is a labor of planetary love to bring into the world. Every card is available folded or flat with deckled edges. There are endless undated planners, notebooks, and journals from which to choose. They recently introduced plantable seed paper gift tags and ornaments, as well as stickers, and every last home good is a thoughtful heirloom in the making. So, if you are a paper nerd in the wild, start your caffeinated stationery journey at paperbaristas.com. And if you're in the trade, make sure to shop this top shop during the Fair Summer Market, July 22nd through 24th. There will be new seeded gift bags, tea towels, and Swedish dishcloths, and they will begin wholesaling their incredible paper sheets that I just raved so much about. However you bring this brand into your life, be sure to tell Christy that Sarah sent you. Is there anything just like in the design world or colors or anything that you're sort of like in the back of your mind that you're finding really fascinating right now?
I mean, I love color. Color is a big part of what we do. We're playing with, for spring, there's a lot of yellow, kind of this like buttery. We have butter imagery and butter yellow.
There's a lot of butter for whatever reason.
We're coming out with it. And I always love a dark, more moody color palette mixed with pastels. And we've always had a very light and dark. So I would say there's, in our collections coming out for fall and next spring, there's a lot of that, like some soft, light colors, and then these darker burgundies, some browns, some very rich slate blues. So we have a lot of consistent colors in the brand, but just I think that evolving the palette each season is really fun. And
like bringing in a new color to just liven everything up and bounce some of the existing tones off of. Do you get inspired by I have to wonder if you're like me, and do you get inspired by what you're watching on TV? Like I just finished watching The White Lotus along with a significant portion of America, and
I'm like the only person in America who hasn't seen it.
Well, yeah, it was just because it was in Thailand, there was just a certain palette and a certain colors. Like I'm wondering, do you go see a film and you're like, wow, the way that the production designer did the scenes, I really like that. I think I might sort of try that, in something, or play with that a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think that taking everything in, maybe I'm in the pastoral one because I recently watched Baby Boom with Diane Keaton.
I love that movie.
It was a great watch.
It's very wholesome.
So maybe that's the land I'm living in more than White Lotus in Thailand. I'm in Baby Boom in Vermont.
But that, when you said I walked NSS and I'm like, I'm going to get a double. I'm going to do this. There is something very interesting about being like, well, everyone's doing this. I'm taking this approach. I'm going to go to Baby Boom. I'm going to go back to the 80s with Diane Keaton.
Yeah, that set me on that's sort of, Nathan and I are watching Annie Hall right now. Maybe I'm on a Diane Keaton kick. We watched The Godfather recently. That's amazing for interiors and
totally
the tone of that movie.
Yeah.
So I think that's the world I'm living in. But it also watching The Godfather for Nathan and I, because we're so tired at night, took us 3 weeks. It's 30 minutes at a time.
I know. No, that's great. It's funny you say that. I just watched it with my mom, and she comes over for dinner every Sunday night. So we would watch 20 minutes one week and then 20 minutes the next week. And then if I might fall asleep, she might fall asleep. It's time to go home for the week. So
that's how it is.
So when you do come up with new ranges with, evolving the rifle range, are there any qualities that every rifle product must have? Like, do you look at stuff or do you look at it and like, it's not quite ready. Okay, now it's ready. I know when I am working on articles, sometimes like I'll just keep working on it. And then I'll get to a point where I'll say to myself, like, I can't look at it anymore. It must be done. Like, is there a similar?
Yeah, that definitely happens. Yeah, we're kind of doing, yesterday we just did a presentation on where we're at for spring, and it's close, but it needs like massaging into the fun. And some things happen quickly. You're like, okay, yeah, that's good. And then other things I think take a lot of iterating, and you're like, I'm not quite there yet. But it's working on a collection like that is just such a big puzzle to me. And there's so many things that are running through my head of, okay, does this mix with other things? Are people going to respond to this? How are they going to respond? You know, how are we going to get it made? And then just having that balance of all of those things coming together. And then there's also those filters, like I was saying before, of like, does it meet that timelessness quality that we want? Is it beautiful? Do we like it? So I think you kind of like run it through this checklist. And then there's other things like you just have a gut instinct about that are maybe a little bit easier. Like you kind of see something, okay, that's good.
Yeah. And I'm sure over time.
You're not always right too. Sometimes you say that and then nobody buys it and you're like, well, whoops.
I mean, when I was in Atlanta, I went out for dinner with a bunch of smaller makers, and they were talking about how they'll work really hard on certain cards, and like the key accounts will never buy, like they'll buy their safe cards. They'll never buy like the edgy thing. So like that must be, maybe sometimes it takes a little while to take, but
yeah, that part, that's what I mean. It's so fascinating to me because there are some products from when I'm thinking about what has sold well over the last year, some things I would expect. And then there's other things that really surprised me. And in a good way, like we have a recipe binder right now we're struggling to keep in stock because
the red and white.
And
yes.
Yeah.
I saw it as soon as I saw it, because I ran it in trends. And as soon as I saw it, it really popped. Something about.
That was when I liked it and we thought it was cute, and that was kind of one of our first steps into that more pastoral stuff. And it was fun because it was placed, but yeah, it sold out again which is great, but also frustrating. It's like, oh, we got to get the right amount. And now everything is so challenging with all of that stuff. But it's that I was pleasantly surprised that really rose up to being what I would consider a bestseller.
It's so funny. Like sometimes what you work so hard on and think will like really, really be big takes a while to kind of land. And the thing that you do really quickly, like off the top of your head, like just hits the mark and resonates like nothing else. Have you had collections also that are kind of slow to uptake, that are bestsellers, but maybe weren't immediately well received? Like it took the market a little while to understand it?
Yes, I think, and I also think it's some of that is the right product for the pattern. We definitely have patterns, which is interesting too, that will work really well on home products, but not as well on stationery or colors. So sometimes I think it's it didn't work over here, but what if we tried it over here and that worked better? Or it was super successful in wallpaper, but actually doesn't translate to a journal. So that's always interesting. And then there are some that kind of slow, but like hydrangea is very simple and classic pattern, but I don't think it was like an immediate, it's just kind of, if you love hydrangeas, it's very up your alley. So I think there's a lot of people who want something like that, but it wasn't an immediate, like this is a runaway great print, but we have a lot of it now because it does well and it's kind of a neutral and can be on a lot of different things.
Right. And when you take a hydrangea pattern, you do a lot of different kind of treatments of it. Like one might be a little more contrasty, like you'll bring in a different color. Others will be a little more, stayed. So I think it's fascinating. And it must be just really fun to kind of, when you generate things, when it's good, at least, to see it hit and be received so well.
Yeah. And we do have our duds. Trust me. We do. We're like, oh gosh, that didn't work.
But then it hopefully informs you of what is, like, okay, we're not trying that again.
Yeah.
So
as long as you learn from it. Yeah.
We'll be right back after this.
PMS, pregnancy, menopause. Being a woman is a lot. Ollie supports you and yours with expert solutions for every age and life stage. They just launched 2 new products exclusively at Walmart. Period Hero combats bloat, mood swings, and more during PMS. And Balance Perimeno to support hormonal balance, mood, and metabolism during perimenopause. Grab yours at ollie.com. Ollie! These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
And we're back. You mentioned how things are becoming hard. I didn't send you a question about tariffs, and like all week I was thinking about doing it. And part of me, the reason I didn't, well, there was a few, the main reason I didn't is because the situation is changing so quickly, and that it might be a non-issue by the time I release this I hope it's fingers crossed.
Me too.
But may I ask you, like, what has been your approach so far? Clearly, some of your product is manufactured in China. So what has been your approach?
We make a lot here and we make a lot all over. And I think, we started off the brand. We still make all of our cards locally in Florida. And there's a lot of products I want to bring back to the U.S. that we shifted during COVID when there was a paper shortage. Mm-hmm. So there was a few times during then where we just couldn't get paper here. And so as much as possible here in the U.S. is always my goal. Mm-hmm. And I think what's challenging is that there's just certain things here that you can't make here.
Right.
And, that's okay. It can pivot and we can be really creative. Some of the things overseas, even planners, when we tried to do planners, I think that was the first thing we did overseas with the tabs and all the things. Maybe you could do it here, but it'd be like a $200 planner.
Right.
And I'm not sure people would buy it, but I think there's some really amazing vet who we work with really like our embroidered products are overseas and they're done so well. And it's hard to find anyone else who can do that. So it's just, I think what's challenging, I will say, is the unknowns and that all of this product has already been made. I'm always confident we can pivot and we can be creative, and those products we can make in a lot of different ways. And it's really about the art and how we execute on it. But I think this unknown for brands of, okay, I've already placed all my orders. I've now have product held up. There's no notice, and you can't really bring it in at that. So we're just kind of holding, but everybody's like, it's that it's there, it's sitting there. And what are you going to do for Q4? Can we bring it in or not? So I think it's just, trying to get creative, being agile, trying to work with our vendors, also not sure what to do. And I think everyone's like in this holding pattern. It's really tough because it's impacting us and our business and our employees more than anything else. And that's what's really hard about it, I think, is that not a lot of time to strategize before that happened.
Right. And to add, the entire situation may change on a dime at any time. So that's very not too conducive to planning,
No. But we made some really amazing Christmas products that I really hope we get. But
good. Yeah, I think I saw them at Shop Object.
Yeah, you probably did. They're really cute.
It was cool too. I have to say, I was talking with Margie about this, that it was interesting to see your product in Atlanta and Ivy Stone very much one way, and at Shop Object very much in another way. I mean, it's the same product. It's just a different type of presentation. Not to digress too much, but the Christmas looked amazing. I'm hoping, might be too big an ask, but I'm hoping that it will maybe lead to some really interesting, innovative product that are solutions to the challenges that the tariffs pose. As you mentioned, I definitely am seeing people saying, "Oh, my product is made in America," more in the last 2 weeks than I have in the last 10 years. So that's been sort of interesting.
Yeah, and the core of what we do either is made here or can be made here. And I think that is with paper products, as much as possible, can be here. And that's great. And we have great partners here. And so, overall, I think like I said, it allows so many, not only I think it's great, it allows us our timing to be shorter. It allows us to be more agile as a company. We make things here and locally. So it's just a matter of figuring out some of the stuff like that is more complex. Can it be brought back, or can we come up with new ideas? And I think that's the big thing. But yeah, it's tough. I think that the impact is huge for brands who have stuff, like I said, on hold and who have already set their budgets for the year. And it's just sort of, whatever your philosophy is on how that should end up, I think is just a really tough situation for a lot of businesses, and especially small businesses who, the investment in inventory is huge. And it's if you need something for Q4, it's definitely been ordered and placed already. So that's what's tough, I think.
Yeah, it's incredibly stressful, as if there were not enough challenges running a small
I know.
business.
It's like, do we really need another thing to deal with? But like I said, it's just my gift for running a business is the guy at like the whack-a-mole thing at the fair. So it's just like that. It's just another one. It's like, okay, it's another thing. It's no problem. No problem.
I was thinking about it, like with COVID, it was like, well, okay, when lockdown happened, everyone who had Shopify was like in pretty good situation, and everybody else pivoted pretty quick and was able to get through it. This is a totally different kind of stressful situation, but hopefully getting through the first one kind of prepared us to go through it and gave us, gives people the strength and wisdom to know, like, okay, I can get on the other side of this, hopefully.
Yeah, that was tough for sure. We had a business, an online store, but we were mostly wholesale. So probably 80% wholesale when COVID came around, and maybe 20% e-com. So, but yeah, I had to like pivot then and figure out what to do. And those paper shortages didn't help. And, but yeah, I got through it. And I think the industry, it's sort of like, not just now, but it feels like we were finally really getting through that. But like I said, this is always something. It's never a smooth sail. So yes, this one felt like a big one to throw in the mix. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. The uncertainty is tough because the problem it's almost like the problem solving can't fully begin yet until some of that uncertainty dies down. And I know some of the bigger accounts feel that too. I haven't had too many conversations, but I think that I feel like probably everyone's feeling the same thing, from really big companies to small brands, of not in how it's impacting them necessarily, but in how the uncertainty feels.
Yes. So. Yeah, totally, completely. I can imagine you're having very interesting conversations indeed these days. So I always close with nerd notes. I've switched up the format a bit, and I just ask guests to share a memorable card or letter they received, just the first one that comes to your head. I would love to hear yours and the circumstances around it.
Well, I have all of I'm in my studio here, all of my childhood letters I have. And I've been pulling them because I'm working on a book, and it was hard for me. I grabbed a bunch, but I will say, I don't know if it's a letter itself. I have all of these, these are all letters from my friend who moved back to Japan when we were in kindergarten. And when she wrote letters for years from Japan on these beautiful, such fun stationery. And I feel like this is just such a big part of I don't know, they're all just these cute Japanese.
Why am I not surprised that you had a Japanese pen pal growing up and as a formative experience, and that informs your whole understanding of stationery?
Little Sanrio stuff, a little penguin. It's so cute.
It's amazing. That's beautiful.
Yeah. And then I have I'm at era of the 90s. So I also have all the letters with the collage paint.
Oh my gosh. Remember when mail art was a really...
Yeah, it's just so I have stacks of these. And so I was just, I don't know, that era I feel like I grew up in was so much of that, letter writing. I have all these camp letters and letters from friends. And I'm not sure the kids these days are doing as much of that, but it's just really fun to go through. And I think that definitely, like I said, made such a big impact on my love of stationery and paper. And then,
I feel like it's coming back. I just went to the Chicago Stationery Fest. I'm sharing a post contributed by a writer actually later today. And she took pictures of like all the journal pages, and there was a lot of Japanese, Korean vendors there. Seeing the people, like, I called them paper nerds in the wild, so excited about the category and really like using this product and bringing it to life. Like it really filled me with hope and, just a lot of excitement.
Now. It's just, it makes it more meaningful. I think that's, the era we live in now where you have all these other options to communicate. It just puts so much more value on paper and a specialness to it if you get a note. So yeah, it's been really fun for me to go through all of this stuff and think about, and I've collected stamps when I was little and just have always loved this world and all the art and the illustrations and everything.
Oh, that's amazing. And I love that you have such a rich frame of reference to look back on as well. I love that you take it and use it to inspire you to take something in a totally different direction, not different direction, but more modern, in keeping with what you do. Those are incredible. Are you still in touch with her?
We actually exchanged a Facebook message maybe a couple years ago, and I told her I had all of them. And she's like, I have never been to Japan. I would love to go. So maybe we'll connect at some point. Yeah, those are very special. And then lots of other little notes and things I have from my grandmother and just all different people's.
I love it. Yeah. Well, and I really want you to go to Japan because I think it will really see some amazing rifle product inspired by your journey there. So hopefully that's really on your bucket list because I think it is good.
It's hard to. It's a far trip, so I got to work that out at some point with the kids and all this stuff. But at some point, I'll make it there. We print our fabric by the yard, which we do with RJR. That's all printed in Japan. So, and we have a great distributor there. So definitely, I would love to go. Just such a rich culture of a love of paper and art and all this. It's just, yeah, I'm sure I'd be in heaven.
Yeah, and such a different approach. Like I don't know too much. Is it Furasaki, their art of wrapping gifts? But I know that how a gift is wrapped, how it's presented, everything is so formalized and regimented. Seems ripe for. It's just a ripe concept to kind of take and do something really creative with. So great. I hope it happens. I hope you visit that supplier very soon. All right. Well, Anna, I cannot thank you enough for your time and coming by the Paper
really appreciate it.
It was really...
I know. I'm so glad we ran into each other and I got to get out of the house more and get to more events and trade shows. So I'm doing that.
That's wonderful. I have to tell you, when I saw you, I walked into Ivy Stone and I glanced at you, looked away. I'm like, is that? No, that can't be. And then I looked, I was, oh my gosh, it is her. So it was really exciting. And it was a great way for me to start off the year. So thank you again.
Well, thank you, Sarah. Well, appreciate your support for everything we do and everyone in the industry and all the brands.
Thank you so much again, Anna. It was such a pleasure to have you, and my mind is filled with visions of what you might generate after a visit to Japan. Please book that trip. Finally, thank you for listening and for listening this far. Of course, feel free to give me a 5-star rating and review if you are so inclined. It will help new paper nerds find us. The Paperfold is proud to be a member of the Evergreen Podcast Network. To learn more about this dynamic, incredible community, please visit evergreenpodcasts.com. Thank you so much, nerds, and please stay safe out there.